Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everyone to this live stream of the tie breaks of the FIDE Grand Prix 2022. This is Sagar Shah and the tie break is between Hikaru Nakamura and Levon Aronian. They will play two games of 15 plus 10. Then if the score is 1-1, they will go to a blitz of 3 plus 2 and then they will go to the Armageddon. So it's going to be very exciting and I'm looking forward to some great analysis here joining all of you. So let's get it started. E4 by Nakamura, E5. I'll quickly run through the moves. Right now, this is the position. Okay, let's first discuss the position and then when it's the break, we will go into it because there is hardly any time. 7 minutes for Hikaru Nakamura, 9 minutes for Levon Aronian. Queen has moved to D4 and Nakamura is asking Levon, will you exchange the queens? Do you think, guys, it's a good idea to exchange the queens? Yes or no for black? Hello, guys. Welcome. And yeah, we're going to have a great time today. We had a great stream with Surya Ganguly. It was so much fun. And now I'm like all chested up because, Surya was like, you have to play this way, this way. He taught so well. And now no. As the king is weak, that's one thing very clearly that the white king is slightly weak. So you want to keep the queens on the board. Perhaps go queen g5 with the threat of bishop takes f3 and then threaten here. But also the fact that if you take knight takes, how are you going to support this pawn? And how are you going to stop rook a7 in the position? Both these things cannot really be stopped. So let's say, for example, I go c6 and you jump with your rook in, then he goes here. It's so passive. It is so passive. And what is a good move here for white? White to move, guys. What do you play? Come on. Rahul Unakal, does Vidit still have a chance to qualify for the candidates? I think Rahul, he has to win the next leg of the Grand Prix. Like he has to literally win it if he wants to have a chance. Because he got 3 points from this Grand Prix and they take the total of 2 events. So he has to win it. Guys, Rook C7, Sports with Tanish, Shaibi, Mistadam, Srijon, Emperor X is okay. Oh, thank you so much, Keith, for fixing the chat chess moves. He's in the US and he's the one who's made Chess Fabregas in the chat. He's the one who's worked on the chess chat moves. He's made it, and sometimes he's asleep, and I write to him that is it possible to fix it, and he does it. I have to install the plugin. Yes, okay. So the move here, which is very cool, is not rook c7 because क्या होगा कि rook c7 खेलोगे, then you want to take with the knight, which is okay, but the real sadistic move, like you really make your opponent squirm, is knight b3 because then you put your knight here and the bishop is like, oh, I can't do anything. I'm completely in a poor state. So that is why knight b3 is to be played. By the way, in the game, of course, Levon Aronian understands completely that you should not exchange the queen. So he goes not queen d4, he goes queen g5 in the position. And now queen to c5. Hikaru is like, exchange it now. And Levon is like, okay, fine. Now I have to exchange because if I don't exchange, you're going to take this rook, and playing queen d8 is just taking it too far because b5 is hanging. So he takes on c5, knight c5, attacking the bishop here. And now Levon makes this very nice move. His point is that, oh, Hikaru, if you come rook a7, what does he want to play here, guys? Black to move. What is his point? What do you do here with black? Hello, Utkarsh Sharma. Everything is good. He asks, kya haal hai? Everything is great. Oops, I think the board is somehow disappearing. Yes, 1 second. Let me just fix that. I don't know why that's happening. Yes, the move that has to be played here is c6. Fantastic job done by all of you here. c6 is the move, and we'll try to have a guest soon. So I've just made the zoom settings there. c6, and that is exactly the reason why Levon got his bishop to d5, so that he can play c6, and now all his pawns are secure with his bishop. But Hikaru goes knight to d3, and Hikaru tells his opponent that, hey, I'm coming to b4 now, or I'll come to f4, and I'll put pressure. You know, Hikaru is still having some pressure. So first back rank weakness is taken care of. Hikaru Nakamura here playing with the white pieces has 7 minutes. Levon has 6.5. It's a 15-minute game. This is the first game of the tiebreak. If it ends in a draw, then, I mean, even whatever result, we go to the second one, and then the score is 1-1, we'll go to blitz. So now, after g6, what is the move that Hikaru might play here, guys? What do you think? What do you think? Utkarsh says, what is the format? Guys, format is 15 plus 2, 2 games. If tied, blitz, 2 games. If tied, Armageddon. It's a short tiebreak. Yes, account number 2, I like your move, knight b4. Tizia Kumar, I think you also want to play knight b4, but yeah. So you go knight to b4, attacking this bishop. And now, guys, can you find what should black play in this position? It's one of those mysterious rook moves by Nimzovich. And when I say mysterious rook moves, it means that rooks belong on an open file, but you put it behind a pawn, not on an open file, because it will open the pathways for the rook. Mistadam, rook e8 is a good move, but it's not a mysterious move. Shaibi Binoj also rook e8, but Shaunak Gujarati, account number 2, very good. This move is so interesting because it's a very mysterious move. Why? What is the rook doing here? I don't want to protect the pawn. I want to play actively. But there is another thing, that if you don't take this bishop, then my bishop protects everything. And if you take it, suddenly the rook is activated. So mysterious rook moves are different from passive rook moves. Passive rook moves, the rook has never any possibility. But when you make this mysterious move, it generally opens up the position, the rook file. So that's the reason why rook c8 is a very interesting move. So look at Hikaru's move. Hikaru says, mysterious, yeah? You want mystery? I'm going to play rook c7. I'm going to stop your rook c8. So look at how top level chess, they are fighting for ideas with each other. Now, his plan is knight b4 next. Soham Pandya says, by seeing the thumbnail, I thought Grandmaster Chess with Hikaru. No, it's not. By the way, what does Levon do now? He activates his rook. He gets his rook to a8. He puts his rook and he's ready to enter into the position. Hikaru goes knight to b4. He's like, I'm not only stopping this, I also want to take here. So what keep active as black? What is the active move? What do you play as an active move here? Let's go. Let's play active chess. Whenever I kind of change streams. Yes, rook a1. Exactly. Rook a1 entering the position. Very good. Shashwat Dubey, you've just blundered a rook with rook a2. That's not a good move. But rook a1 is the move here. And you give a check, king f2, and you keep it active, rook to c1. So what happens is that if you take on c6, I will take on c2. You know, that is the point here. So that's the reason why It's not a, but Levon actually makes a very surprising decision. He goes king to g7. I think, what is his point now? Because now knight c6 seems like a juicy free pawn, doesn't it, guys? Look, now if I take on c6, you take with the bishop. Okay, first maybe you give a check because you want activity. Now if you go rook c1, I'm just bringing my knight back. My rook defends the pawn. What is it that Levon wants? And if you take now, in this rook endgame, I'm just a pawn up. If you try to attack here, I'll go b3. I'll defend this from this way. And then I'll bring my king up and try to win this. Oh, and Hikaru has just taken. Levon takes. Look at Levon's confidence here. You know, sometimes when I see Levon playing, and I saw him recently at Kolkata, even in worse positions, he's just so confident. He's always like, yeah, I've got it under control. No problem. Guys, don't worry. Yeah, exactly, Raghav Bansal. This is a free pawn. Is there an increment? Yes, 15 minutes plus 10-second increment. So every move there is a 10-second increment. Calm Cool says C6 is a juicer. So I agree with the fact that it's not easy for Hikaru to convert this position. And also, like when you play a move like, let's say, b3 and c4, after take, and rook comes from behind, it is a drawish position. So I think Hikaru doesn't want to exchange these pawns here. I think it would be in Levon's benefit. Peter Cavano says, Lev is making me very sad today. Why? Yes, this is the first game, guys. I'm going to put up the score here for all of you so that you don't have to. G4 by Hikaru. Okay, he's pushed his pawn here. Trying to gain more space. Maybe if he gets G5, he would be very happy. I think Levon will go H6, shayad se. But H6, H4, H5. Just give me a second, guys. Maybe I'll quickly fix this. You know, I want to put the score. Nakamura, Levon, Aronian. Sorry about that. Maybe the board is gone for a second, but fix it. 0 and 0. Yeah. Okay. All set here. And he goes rook d2. He captures the 7th rank here. Facing some. And now what does Hikaru do? Hikaru Nakamura. This is Levon Aronian. Score is 0-0. So now everyone knows what the scores are. He goes h4. He pushes his pawn to h4. World of Wit says that is 2nd rank. Well, it's the 7th rank for black, you know. So for white, it's the 2nd rank. I mean, in absolute terms, yes, it's the 2nd rank. Like this is the 1st, this is the 2nd, this is the 3rd. Ooh, h5. Interesting move by Levon. But if I take, you take, can I go rook c5, attacking h5 and b5? Maybe. This might end in a draw, Namish Jain says. For a player like Levon, he may hold it. Yeah, that's true. Also, I love this move. Like, let's say, take, he took. I think he'll take back. And then he go rook c5. And then black goes, what is more important? This pawn or this pawn? Guys, which pawn is more important here? Actually, yeah, b1 is very important, but when you take here, you will lose the c pawn. So actually, you can just come here, or you can even push your pawn to b4. Push it to b4, right? So instead of doing rook c5, Hikaru was b4. And he's trying to fix this pawn, and now he wants to play rook c5. But you see, I think what Hikaru missed somewhere, and this is something which he could have done better, is maybe instead of this move g4 here, he could have started off with b4. And if you go rook d2, he can now play rook c5, right? Let's say h5, very logical move. I go c3, you go rook c2, I gain more space, h4. And let's say king f6, just for the sake of argument. Now I go king h2. So the difference here is very clear. White king is coming up, and you can't take on g2 because I'll take on b5 with two connected passers. But the moment when Hikaru played g4 in the game, he basically shut his king down on the second rank here, on the 7th rank with rook d2. And now the king can't come up. So actually g4, I would say, was definitely not the best move. And here b4 was perhaps better way to continue, but he went h4 and now h5. Very nicely done by Levon. Now b4, and he's taking his time. He has 2 minutes 30 seconds. Shaunak Gujarati says white will want to play f4, f5. Possible. Deval Saula says Hikaru is playing with the confidence of someone who has nothing to lose. Might be the difference today. Yes, for sure. But I'm sure he also wants to win today. You know, like you can't just play the finals of a tournament without any pressure. I mean, till now, maybe he had nothing much to worry or feel stressed about. But now, maybe with the victory so close, he would definitely want to win. Okay, here's my question to you. Rook d4, what do you do? I think c3, right? You play your pawn to c3. Then you take. Now I go rook c5. Let's say you go king g6. And now after rook b5, what is the only move for black here? Guys, come on, quickly. Who are gonna be the last two spots for candidate? Gokul will have to wait for 2 more events after this of Grand Prix. One in Belgrade, the other one again in Berlin. We'll have a lot of more players playing there. We'll have Anish joining in. We'll have many top players playing. Abhinav Gupta says not getting notifications nowadays. Is there any issue going on? Not sure. I think we posted a lot of videos today, right? We posted like this is the 4th or 5th video on ChessBase India. Perhaps that's the reason. Yes. Rook c4. Well done. Megha Patra, Thug Army, Arham Sethia, Satyanarayan Patel, Vaibhav Dubey, Namish Jain, Hassam Imam, Surindira, Shaibi Binoj, Tizia Kumar, Rook c4, and attacking this. And now here comes an important moment. Rook c5. Should you take this rook or should you not take this rook? Just write yes if you want to take the rook, no if you don't want to take the rook. What do you do? And by the way, guys, I'm very, very proud of everyone in the chat because today Surya Ganguly came to ChessBase India and he was teaching his chessable course. He was showing some of the beautiful lines against 1d4. And he said so many times that the chat has become so strong. And I was so happy to hear it from him. It was very nice. Yes, no, 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 yes, 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 no. Guys, this is how you should remember. If I take, it's a good move. Why? Because after taking, there is something known as the rule of square. What does the rule of square say? The rule of square says that build a square. You know, the way I build it is you make a diagonal like this, then tuck, 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 and tuck. That's the square ready here. Now, if the black king can come inside the square on this move, then he can stop the pawn. If he cannot, like let's say if I make a waste move, that's done. Now the square is just too short. Now you cannot come in this square. You can't jump in, right? So the right move here is king f6 and the king is within the square and this is a draw. c6, king here. I mean, I can go king here and it will end in a draw. So just to be sure, yeah, king f6, king g2, king e5, king h3, king d5, king h4, king c5, king h5, king c4, king g5, king c3, king f6, king d3, king f7, king e3, and I'm just in time to pick the pawn. Sridhar Khirwal says, who can beat Magnus, Levon or Ding or Alireza in World Championship? Actually, it is very interesting question and very difficult to say. Who, by the way, that's why Hikaru doesn't go rook c5 because he knows he can't take this pawn. So he prepares for the pawn endgame with king g2 and now rook f4 has been played in this position. And guys, we have our guest of today joining in from the first link in the description. You can guess who it is and he's going to talk to us a bit also about that. Can you tell me who it is going to be? I think from personally everyone wants Alireza to reach the World Championship because that will be very, very interesting. Yes, exactly. Swapnil Dhopade is here. He is the coach and the founder of Chess Pathshala and he's going to join us today. So hello Swapnil.
Hi Sagar bhai, how are you?
I'm good. One second, let me bring you on the screen here.
Yeah.
Yes, just a second. Yeah, there we have Swapnil. Swapnil, where are you? Rajasthan, Amravati.
Right now at my home in Amravati.
You are at your home. Amazing,
Yeah.
amazing. Good to have you here, Swapnil. And
Thank
what
you
are
so
your
much.
thoughts on this end game? We will dive straight into it because a lot is happening.
Right. In fact, I was expecting some kind of a tense struggle like what happened in the first game. But suddenly I was seeing your stream and I saw that, okay, this is already an end game. So I need to rush to the stream quickly.
No, but there is one more game, yeah, after this.
Okay. So is this rapid going on?
Yes. Today is rapid because
Okay.
it's a tie break. And
Okay.
there will be one more game. And if it's 1-1, then we will have Blitz and then
Okay.
Armageddon because it's like 1-1 they ended in classical.
Oh, yeah. Right. I hope it goes to Armageddon so that we'll get a lot of interesting games and a lot of excitement.
Yeah, exactly. So right now
Seems like a drawish, no?
seems draw because black will just keep his rook here and the moment white tries to pick this up, he will take this.
I think white will try to bring his king to d4. So king f4, king e4 could be one idea. And then try to do something. Though objectively this should be a draw, but practically white will try to press, I believe.
So rook c5 and now Swapnil says he will bring his king here. And then let's say like in the great best scenario, king f6, king f4. If I can get king e4, king d4, then I'm threatening to take this.
Right, that's a big threat. And maybe black will have to give checks here and there. But
check, but then I go like this.
This or even the king can go to b3. That is also a safe hiding square for the king.
True. And then I protect this. So actually, Levon has to still be slightly careful.
Yeah, in this endgames, there are many ways to draw it objectively, but practically when there's also less time on the clock, it becomes really difficult to hold such endgames. And many players, they make mistakes. Of course, at top level, they are quite careful about it.
Blunder.
So see.
Blunder.
That's what I was.
Oh, and Hikaru takes this. But why? I think he thought rook c8, but now maybe he forgot this king d3 or what?
Yeah, could be. Oh my God, that is like completely messed up now.
What a blunder. I mean, but how, we have to see how to draw that position because you showed, the defense that white had a very straightforward idea to protect his pawn.
Right. Now I guess it's tough for Aronian to defend.
Yeah, because the king takes care of this pawn here.
Right.
And the rook is attacking this pawn.
Right. Many times even one rook and 2 pawns are sufficient to defend themselves, and the king can come later on. But now the king is also quite near, so I don't really see any chance for Aronian now. Let's see. But that was very surprising. How did Aronian just move the rook away straight?
Yeah, I mean, it's really.
That is why it is said now that threat is stronger than execution, right? So he was just threatening to bring the king, and suddenly Aronian just blundered.
Yeah, Aronian just flipped out, and I think this is just so simple. Just go here. Oh, what? What?
No, must be error. Must be calculation.
Sorry. I blundered. It was like, no, come on. Free rook. 4. And Shaunak says that's an easy calculation for someone like Aronian, right? Time pressure, maybe, or what?
Yeah, time pressure, and also, when opponent has a very straightforward plan to win the game, and you don't really see a very concrete defense. Of course, I think if you give Aronian some more time, he would have found it. But in time pressure, it becomes really tough, and that is why many rook end games are just lost like that. It is draw till the end, but when you have to find some concrete defense in time pressure, it becomes really tough.
Yeah, true. But I'm very surprised, and I think we should look at that position later to figure out what was the way to hold it.
Right. Yeah, that would be interesting. Because even the defense did not seem very clear.
True, absolutely.
I think it's interesting to see whether Aronian can still create some counterplay with his f pawn. It's already far advanced.
You think this is still possible to hold?
I think it's quite possible. Now it's becoming complicated. The pawn is on f4. Like few moves back, the pawn was on f7, so there was no question that Aronian could do something there. But now I think even he knows that maybe he could do something.
Yeah,
so it's interesting to see. Let's see.
Oh, okay. My point is, let's put the rook here. Okay, behind.
Right.
King goes here. Now get your king to c5. He's going to take at least 3 to 4 moves to push his pawn. In that time, you can get your pawns up and running.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think that is ultimately what white has to do in this endgame. But it's always a matter of just one tempo here and there, and the result changes completely. And when you are playing white in this position, and when you know that with correct play you can win, you somehow hesitate to take such risky chances. I think that's.
But it's like kind of forced now, because if you go king e3, maybe
rook b3,
rook b3 attacking c3 pawn, and then that's a draw. So he played king e3.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
What? I was just saying that's a bad move, and he actually plays
I think
it.
What he wants to do is he wants to push the pawn to b7 maybe, and then try to move the rook with a check.
Here, and then check, and then queen. Ooh.
Yeah, that could be. But I think the king is running with. Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. So b6. So rook b3, b6 maybe straight away. King d3.
And f2 he has what? This check, but
this check and king c4 maybe. But he's just running late, no? Like he should have gone over there straight away.
Yeah, but okay, f2, rook f8,
rook f8,
king e6, rook.
King c4 has to be played. I think.
Yeah, king c4. Otherwise, he'll just take this pawn. So king c4, rook b2,
right?
And now, okay, king c5.
But now rook e2, idea rook e5 and
rook
e2.
Awesome. Maybe. And king c6.
Rook c2, I guess. So I'm creating a lot of problems.
And then this is hanging. Right. Oh, by the way, in the game, not f2, he went king g4, king c2. Okay. And he's trapped his rook actually.
No, but F2.
But f2, there is rook f8.
No, but then rook b5, no? That's the idea.
And then rook f2, that's winning, no? With such a cutoff.
I guess so, yeah.
Because then correct. c4 is coming. Oh my god.
Right. That's interesting.
So he actually played f2 blunder. Oh, blunder. Rook takes f2. And now Hikaru is winning once again. Swapnil, since you have come, the position is just, 0-0. And I was like, okay, draw. And since you come, at least the result has changed 4 times.
Right. It has been a roller coaster in just a few minutes.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, he resigned. He resigned.
He just played Rook C5 and resigned himself. Yeah. Yeah, he know that this is just lost.
Okay, you go king b3, right?
King d3 is also fine, I guess.
king
D3 or king
d3,
B3 doesn't matter.
and
King
now
D1.
the main point is I want to push c4.
Right.
And I think once the pawn push goes past the half of the board, it's winning, right?
Yeah, also the king is cut off by far. The f file cutoff is like too much. If it's cut off on the e file, let's say white's rook is on d file and black has a king on the e file somewhere on e5 or e4, then maybe white can still hope to somehow create some drawing chances. But here the king is on g4, so it's way like far away from the c pawn. And many times the usual defensive idea for the side defending in this endgame is to bring the rook to f5 and try to exchange the rook and liquidate into a drawn pawn endgame. But since the king is far away, that idea is simply not possible here.
So here, let's say for example, you try to go back. I go c4, you give a check, I go to c3, and then you come here trying to stop c5, and now I can maybe even
now what you can do, I guess, is just bring the king to e6. So king d4, he will keep giving checks, right?
Yes.
Then you play rook c2 at the end, and I think that should be sufficient.
So here, check, here, and now rook c2. Ooh, very cool. And then I go king d7, c5, c6, c7, and wins. Amazing.
No chance. Yeah. But this was a very interesting endgame.
Yeah, let's have a look at that key moments. By the way, Rakshit asks, it's very easy to learn how to win certain rook endgames, but defense is always tricky. How does an amateur player learn to find defensive resources?
First of all, you have to study rook endgames. When, my students always ask me what is the point of studying endgames, because most of the time they'll make some mistakes in the middle game and so on.
I'll tell you, Swapnil, what's the point? 24,000 euros is the first prize, and the second prize is 18,000 euros, I think. So 6,000 euros usually is the cost of not studying. But okay, Levon knows these things. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. So studying rook endgames, studying endgames especially is quite important, because these days the time control is so fast, and many times when you get an endgame over the board in your games, usually you will have very less time on the clock. So in those positions, if you have very good skills in endgame, if you have very good intuition in the endgame, then it really helps you to make faster decisions on the board and play under time pressure. And secondly, as he asked how to exactly improve endgames, I would say that there are a lot of endgame books. And so basically there are two parts. The first thing is that you have to study some really important theoretical positions in any endgame, whether it's rook endgame, bishop endgame, or whatever, some basic theoretical endgame positions. And that is something that you need to know by heart. And secondly, you have to study practical endgames. Like there are many practical rook endgames, like for example, this one. Right. And there are a lot of other practical endgames from where you can gain knowledge and you can study a lot of motifs. So I think if you combine these two things, you will of course improve your knowledge and strength in endgames.
Amazing.
And rook endgames is a very common endgame that we see in our games regularly, right?
Any material you would recommend for people who are below the rating of 2000 to learn rook endgames?
Rook endgames, there's a very good book of it's an old book, but I think it's still quite relevant. The book's name is I think it's written by Korchnoi on rook endgames.
That is too tough, no?
It's too tough, but I think we don't need to really find all the good moves in that book. We just need to go through it, just study the games, study the end games, and we don't need to just remember everything by heart in the first attempt. Just go through it, try to understand the things, and you will learn a lot from such books.
Right. Yeah, guys, there was this one book which I can say is Silman's Endgame Course, which is a nice book, very simple to learn. Also, there is 100 endgames you must know. I think that is also a decent one. Very, very, very good one. And then Dvoretsky's Endgame Manual is a tough one. But Swapnil, I saw recently that they have now come with a fast track book of Dvoretsky's Endgame Manual.
Right.
And that has been edited by Carsten Mueller. And from 440 pages, it has come down to 200 pages. So we were just looking at that, and we were going to place an order tomorrow or so for those books because it is right now out of stock on ChessBase India. But so guys, you can then later on check that out, because I think that's a good way to learn.
Surely, because Dvoretsky Endgame Manual is packed with the basic endgames as well as some really tough and high level endgames. So I think if they are coming up with a faster version, I believe that it will be really helpful for people who are just trying to learn endgames from scratch.
Yes. Himang Ghosh says Rubinstein's rook endgames are fantastic to study. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So many amazing rook endgames. Oh, and also there is Shereshevsky's book. Yeah, that's also pretty good. But talking about Rubinstein, and we have to analyze this. I think
Right.
Swapnil, you've done something with Rubinstein recently. I mean,
Yeah.
not with Rubinstein in person, but something on him.
Yeah, right. So basically, I have created a video course on the based on the games of Akiba Rubinstein, because he's such a model player for anyone who wants to learn positional chess and endgame play. Like he's known as the master of rook endgames, and also his technique of converting plus positions smoothly into a victory is really amazing. I personally learned a lot when I was growing up through his games, and many great players like Gelfand, then Vladimir Kramnik, they credit Rubinstein for learning positional chess and also a lot of
Yeah.
end games. So I've created a video course on my website. I think you can paste the link in the chat, and it's a completely free video course, so anyone can join and they can learn from the video lessons. It contains 12 video lessons, 13 video lessons to be precise, and 200 interactive exercises, puzzles.
Oh. I've actually
All taken from
put it there. It's like you have made such a big course and it's absolutely free.
yeah, it's free.
So why
Yeah.
did you? What was the idea behind it? Like generally people make something and they are like, okay, I can then earn out
Yeah,
of it or what?
basically, first of all, I learned a lot from this great player, so it is kind of a tribute to him. Secondly, I really feel that a lot of people will benefit from this course, and in general, I just want to give as much value as possible to the chess community. So this is
Amazing.
just a small attempt to to invite everyone to learn together from the games of Rubinstein.
No, I think that's amazing. And guys, I was just going through it before the stream. It's the first link in the description. You can check it out. And I saw that he's put in so much effort over there. And I think Swapnil, it must have taken like a month or so to make this.
That's true. That's true. I was preparing for this course for quite long, and I first of all had to select some really good games. Like it should not be like I just pick any game and just put it over there. It should also have a lot of instructional value. So I first of all selected some really good games. Out of those games, I again divided those games into some really best games of his, and then I did video analysis over them, and then I created interactive studies. So creating interactive studies was also not that easy. First, one thing is you just give the pgn files, but if you create leeches studies, it takes some time, it takes some effort. And interactive studies, interactive exercises is, I think, a better way to
Yes, they can
train
try.
in such games.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can play the moves, and it's more interactive, so they will learn a lot in this way.
Amazing.
So instead of giving pigeons, I thought it would be better for everyone to go through this interactive exercises.
Well, guys, check it out and let me know after you've seen it how it is, and let us all know. I think we'll talk about it more, Swapnil. But here, this position,
Why rook d8?
why did the bar suddenly say rook d8 is a blunder?
I was expecting rook h3. It
Yeah,
looks like a very logical move.
Think, and
But
you
I'm
can't
trying to
take
figure
here
out a defense. Yeah, king
because
d4
this.
has to be played.
So yeah, king d4, check makes a lot of sense, right?
Right. Okay. But king, I don't really see a follow up. So king d3. I think what you can do is try to push the king to b3 and then start pushing the f pawn. I guess that could be a way to draw.
And
King
now
b4.
this.
Now f5 maybe has to be the only move. Yeah.
So f5. In fact, yeah, f5. Rook takes b5.
f4.
f4.
I think now the pawn is much faster.
Yeah, it's just going down.
But let's say I play rook b8.
Yeah.
Try to catch the pawn. How are you going to exactly? King e7 or what?
Yeah, king e7 or king f7. I think you have to do that, because if you go like f3, and if I can get my rook behind here, I think white is winning here.
True.
Because,
I mean, the pawn is under complete attention, and I'll just start pushing my pawns on the queen side.
Right.
Yeah, this is even. So king e7, again a very subtle move. A very good move.
Yeah, after rook b8, king e7 stops this. And actually, Swapnil, I think the basic bias we have in our mind is that whenever we see two pawns, we just instinctively feel that it's winning for the opponent. We don't even realize that one pawn is also pretty strong.
Correct. I think with proper king positions for both sides, one pawn can also prove to be very dangerous. That is true.
Right.
And this is just one kind of position. No, white's king is completely away from the f pawn, and black's king is perfectly placed to stop white's rook from approaching the pawn. So I think this is a perfect example of this.
Yeah, and now maybe check, but then king up. I mean, you don't even know what to do, because if let's say I push b5, you go f3. Now b6, f2 is just lost. So
yeah, you could even lose here.
Maybe rook a8,
f2,
rook a1, trying to stop the pawn. And now black, now that the white rook is extremely passive, let's say king b4, I think black is able to hold this. c4.
Yeah, also rook f4, rook f4, rook f1.
Okay, 4, yeah, rook f1, and king c7. And I think now it's not easy for white to make progress because his rook is very passive.
True.
So that was the defensive idea, and I think what Aronian felt was that if the king gets here to b3, then he would not be able to stop it, these pawns. So he just, I think his plan is also not bad, Swapnil, because he is, I mean, why did he do this? I don't know, but I think if he could have gotten f5, f4 rolling, it would have been good, but the king is in the center. Not here.
That's a choice to make. Let's say if he plays f5 and white's king stays on f4 or f3, whatever, and white's rook comes to a c5. Okay, so his queenside pawns are safe, and he's holding the f pawn with his king. I think even this position is easy win for white, right? I'll just slowly start pushing my pawns. So I think that strategy simply doesn't work. Doesn't make sense.
Correct. True. So here I think he still had some chances with rook c8, because the idea is the same. Put the king, like provoke it to go.
Push the king away.
Yeah, further away from here, and then start f5. So it was still possible, but Aronian simply within he had 11 seconds, and he played within 5. I mean, he had less time. I think that was the main reason. Check, king here, and now Hikaru starts to do. Okay, first this is fine. Yeah. Rook d3 excellent, because he's making way for his king now.
Right.
f5, king d4, rook b1. And now I did not realize why Hikaru did not play king c5.
Yeah, that's such a natural move, preparing the advanced b5.
Yes, he just wants to push the pawn down the board.
Very logical. And also the rook on d3 is well placed, so that the pawn doesn't go further beyond the fourth rank, the f pawn. The pawn will reach f4, and black will have to make a lot of effort to push it further to f3. So the rook on d3 is ideally placed as well.
So let's say I go king e5, right? b5, king e4.
Right. Yeah.
And what do you do?
I think rook d8 is simple.
You go behind, okay. Let's say I play f4.
Right. I guess f6 or c4. Or maybe rook 8. c4. Okay. Looks fine.
f3.
Now rook f8.
Yeah, I go king e3. I want to play f2, f1.
Now I guess king b6 looks like a good move.
Ooh, this is very nice, yeah?
Yeah.
It's called change of leader.
Yeah, correct.
So the thing is that if you play b6 here, guys, then after f2, king c6, f1, queen, rook takes, say b7, rook b1, king c7, black king is just in time, and the rook sacrifices itself for the b pawn, king picks up the c pawn, draw.
Right.
So what you do is you actually change the leader from b pawn, which is going to be anyway taken by the rook, to the c pawn. So now the c pawn becomes the leader here, so that the b pawn is far away from the black king.
True. Yeah.
f2. Now c5. Or Swapnil, we could also take here directly, because then it pushes the king away anyway.
Yeah.
So correct. King here,
makes sense.
c5, king e3, c6, king d4, c7, rook c1, and now king b7, and you cannot catch this pawn.
True.
Because if it jumps here, there is queen and you lose.
Right.
Oh, very instructive.
Yeah. We just have to be careful that if black plays king d5, we don't queen immediately. Otherwise, it will be a draw. So we have to first play b6 and then queen.
You mean where?
Now king d5 in the end. We should not queen immediately.
Yes. If we queen, then take, and then king comes here and picks this up. So first b6.
First b6, yeah.
So
this was, when I learned this technique, I was so impressed that we can the side having 2 pawns can waste one move like this, and this way is much faster.
Go in front. Yeah, this is exact. And you were like, you first move which came to your mind is king b6. But guys in the chat, I think for you this is not the first move that comes in your mind, right? So
it's counterintuitive.
Yeah, very much. True. So this was again one moment which Nakamura could have won with king c5, although it was not trivial. He checked. He was like, "Acha, king ko thoda side aur karte hai," and then go back, which is again correct. But why did he go rook b8?
I think he was kind of in a dilemma to whether to stop the f1 with the king or with the rook. So he wanted to king in the center and hopefully want to get near to the f pawn with the king.
So he wanted rook b8 and he wanted his king to stop this pawn, and then he would push his 2 pawns there.
Yeah. He wanted to have everything, but that was not possible.
But I think this was simple. Check, king here, and now king c5. Same idea. Rook is taking care here. My pawns are going this way. So let's say king g4. Same stuff, right? What we just saw. f3,
right.
b5, king g3, and once again
b6.
Change the leader. King b6, f2, and take this. And this we already analyzed to win for white. So he went rook b8 and then king f5, b5, king f3. Oh, this, I think here he still could have fought, but is this clear? Check, king, maybe same stuff, right?
I think it's one more.
Oh, you lost the move. So that's a draw now. Because every move counts.
How exactly does black catch the pawns?
f2.
So it's a c4, f2.
King b6, right?
King b6, right? f1 takes. And now you start pushing the c pawn.
Yeah, c5.
King f4 has to be played. I think so, right?
Yeah, king f4.
Now c6.
King e5.
I don't have time to play king c7 now, right? Because of rook f7.
Oh, now you again want to change the leader. Oh, this is I've never seen such a position where 2 times you change the leader.
Yeah, that is it.
You seen that ever?
No.
King f7, but now this time you just get lose the game because check and king comes here.
Usually in textbooks, when we change the leader, the pawns are already far advanced, so we don't get time to change it twice.
And now king e5. So here has to play c7, rook here, king here.
King d6, and
b6.
Now does b6 also draw?
Yeah, I mean b6.
Yeah. King d7, king b8, just king b7 wait there.
Yeah, just keep on moving back and forth, and it's a draw. But okay, if you want to draw it simply, then just c8 queen, and it's a draw. By the way, guys, one game which you can check on ChessBase India, which covers this type of endgame very well, is Nihal Sarin versus Mamikon Garibian. That was a game which happened in Serbia, where Nihal had a rook, I think, or Nihal had 2 pawns and Mamikon had a rook, and all the concepts happen. And I had done a voiceover explaining all the variations, so maybe it will be very useful.
Nice. Maybe I think, Sagar, you can create a course of your own. You already created so much instructive content.
Yes.
Channel.
This is exactly what I want to do, and this is where we are working on ChessBase India Academy, which will have a lot of things which are on YouTube, which are there in a more structured way and nice way for people to learn. And eventually, I mean, people can learn in a structured way what to do.
Right.
So this was, I think, one more chance where, and once he went rook b8, perhaps I think the win was lost. I mean, win was
but
gone.
I think it's not that easy still, right?
How? Like check, king g4, and maybe now he has to go this move.
No, I mean, king e4. Okay.
Because if you take rook b5, this is lost for black.
So what you're claiming is that after rook e1 check, you're playing king d5 and you have one more ahead, or what?
I got one extra move. Like maybe I can go this.
Okay. So that is a matter of one move, yeah.
But I'm not sure. Like for example, here f2
takes b6.
Take here, or let's wait. Let's push.
Okay, let's push b6. b6 so c5 doesn't matter.
f1. Take here.
b7.
Take here.
b7 I think won't work, yeah.
b7 because rook here and then the king.
Yeah, c5 has to be played then. Here I wanted to just mention a very good technique here. For example, if black plays rook b1, okay, and after rook b1, instead of king f4, if rook b1, and someone might think that c6 is winning, but I think it doesn't win.
Yes, let's ask the chat, guys. Very nice question by Swapnil. Black to play and draw. And by the way, the second game has started, so we'll go there in a bit. But what's the move? Yeah, from the mini board, you can see it's a Italian game and must win for Aronian. Otherwise, he's out. I mean, Hikaru will win this tournament. I mean, no, sports with Tanish. If rook b6, bc7. And also rook b5. Yes, Kapil, Bagaria, Srijan, Saha.
Oh, rook b5.
This was, I think, some previous a lot of answers. But yeah, Aman Khurana, Abhishek Garg, fantastic job, guys. You can't take on b6, by the way, here because of c7. So you have to give first a check. And after king moves away, you take here. And even if the king comes back, you take here. So king here, check, and then you take this. Okay. So let's go to the next game and let's start from the move one. Knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, bishop c5, castles, knight f6, rook e1. What is Levon trying to do here? Because d3 is the most common move.
Right, but I think at some point white plays rook e1, so there could be some transposition later on. But I think in the game I just saw that he played c3, d4. So he's trying to be aggressive and trying to be a bit original in the opening itself.
Right, d4.
It is quite possible that there are a lot of games already on this position.
Well, let's try to check. I have our mega database, but bishop a7. So just to clarify here, you should not take on d4, right? Because that gives white
a lot of initiative. Even something like e5 can be good enough. Or just c into d4.
Yeah, just trying to bring up this. Yeah, so here, just to see how many times this has been played, d6, c3. Actually, if you look here, Swapnil, 6, we have 21,000 games in this position.
Right.
And 10,000 games d3.
Yeah.
4,000 games d4. And only 691 rook e1. So this is something very unique that and no 2650 plus player has played it.
Right. So I think Aronian has had kind of saved this move for such crucial moment.
Right. So this is actually one very important thing when you're playing at this level, that you need some weapons in crucial games.
Yeah, in must-win situations.
And I think this is something which Levon has managed to find here. And okay, Hikaru goes back.
I think I can ask a question to chat here. So let's say if white takes d into e5. After bishop a7, d into e5. With what will you take back? I think you can't. You can't. Okay, what will you play? Basically, that's the question.
Black to play, guys. What do you do here? It's black to move. Try to find what is the best move. Sorry, today it's just. Savita says Arjun had a recent game in Tata Steel in this variation. Really? No, it was different. I think you are mistaking the Surya game for this. It was
Surya game was completely different.
Yeah, it was Italian, but it was c3 d4.
Yeah.
And then after ed4 e5 and that line.
Yeah.
5 d4. Oh, look at Garvit Kalra, Srijan Saha, Shaibi Binoj, Mistadam, Pon Balaji. They have all actually guessed that Rook e1 move should be taken advantage of.
Oh, okay. That's great.
And knight g4 is what they recommend.
Yeah.
Is this good, Swapnil?
I think so. That has to be the best move because you can't take on e5 either way, right? You're going to lose a pawn somewhere.
Yes, but taking with the pawn is very bad because after take, let's say knight d8, knight e5,
right?
And if king d8, bishop f7. But taking with the knight may be relatively better because after take, and this, I think you have pressure.
Yeah, on the f file, right?
Here with the knight gone from f3, then knight g4 next.
Yeah, but after d into e5 is knight g4 the correct move?
Yes, yes. Okay. That's the best move here. And actually black is even better after rook f1, knight e5.
Yeah, the rook e1 move was completely a waste.
Right.
Yeah.
Great question, Swapnil. And bishop a7, h3. That's why stopping knight g4.
Yeah.
Black
I think this
castles.
is a good way to study openings. Yeah, we ask some logical questions to ourselves, and we get a lot of interesting answers. Why this move was played and why that move was played.
Absolutely. So castles, and now bishop e3, and maybe a good point to ask another question. Why not
knight e4?
Yeah, take this pawn.
Why is this a blunder?
Yeah, why is this a mistake, guys? Sports with Tanish says d5. That's a very interesting move, d5. And also there is d takes e5 here.
Yeah, my first instinct was d takes e5, but d5 also looks quite promising. The idea is that you want to take on e7 and win the piece forcefully.
Yeah, take, and the threat is to take here. But I think what black will do is he will play a knight e5, putting pressure here.
Knight into e5.
Take, and somehow weirdly your queen is and back rank issues maybe. Okay, let's say take.
Yeah, take on a7. I think after rook d1, bishop f5 is a issue maybe.
And now if let's say rook a7, rook e4, rook d1, bishop, or maybe just king h2, and white is better, piece up. But here is a classy move for black.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Got it.
Amazing, yeah, these tactics. It's all about loose pieces, guys.
Nice position.
I think Levon would be aware of all these tricks because he studied this.
Right.
Yes, sports with Tanish, very good. Knight d6, attacking the bishop here. Learn with PV, Chinmay, Vaishnav PT, and next move you take this when black is doing completely fine. So very good intermediate. You know, Swapnil, I was looking through games of Bharat Subramaniam, and I realized what that kid does really well. He's no longer, I mean, kid is just for his age, yeah, he's a GM. Is whenever opponent takes something, his natural reaction is not to recapture. I think in his mind, it's like, what else can I threaten?
So he looks for options all the time.
Yes, he looks for like counter attacking moves. So like here, take. So like natural first move that comes to my mind always is take back.
Yeah,
But I
correct.
think in his mind, maybe that's what I tried to think. He thinks, what can I attack first?
Yeah, what
And
can I
maybe,
counterattack?
yeah, maybe he's able to find some very good tactics because of that.
I think if you have this habit, you will be able to recognize some hidden resources in the
Hmm.
position. That's a good habit to have, actually, especially in normal games, normal tournament games. In Blitz, of course, we don't have much choice. We usually we pre-move to K7, but in games we can think.
True, true. Okay, so by the way, the right move here is d5, uh, but still black is surviving after, let's say, knight a5 hitting this. And okay, it gets really complex after bishop f1.
B4 is also a threat now.
b4 now is a threat. So I think black is worse, but yeah, that's why d5 is the best move. Okay, so can't take this pawn. So he went h6, bishop b3, rook e8, knight bd2, bishop d7, queen b1.
Interesting.
What is the logic of this move?
I think a into d4 was, of course, one of the threats that he had to defend against, right?
Right. But
Knight
then
e4.
maybe bishop c2.
I think he wants to keep the bishop on the diagonal for the moment.
Hmm.
That is one very obvious thing. Other thing could be a3, queen a2, but that
Swapnil, this is exactly what he does. He plays a3.
but he doesn't. After queen e7, he moves somewhere else. Okay.
And then queen f8.
Oh, okay. I think Naka is playing a bit passive in this game.
Yeah, this bishop d7 and queen e7, queen f8 is not very normal in such structures.
Yeah, correct. But usually, in this in Italian and openings like this, white usually dreams of getting this c3 d4 pawn structure, and here white has got it very comfortably. So I think it's very obvious that Aronian has won the opening battle. It's interesting. It will be interesting to see whether he is able to carry it forward till the end.
Okay, interesting. b5 has been played here by black.
Yeah, he needs to gain some space, otherwise he will just choke out.
But how should white continue here? Should he aim for b5 break, or should
usually what happens is the knight comes to g3. So I'm wondering how can white bring the knight without losing the e4 pawn?
Because here if you play this, then there is ed and this hangs.
Right.
Rook c1 by Levon.
Another thing could be to play d5 at the appropriate moment and then to break with c4.
I think that's what he's planning.
So
And
that the
then put
c7 pawn
pressure.
can be, could be a target.
Right.
After b5 it is become very much real.
So knight a5, and now maybe we can just drop the bishop back.
Bishop a2.
And then there are also plans like b4.
Right.
With c4.
I think he wants to go c5. Yeah. So bishop a2, c5 maybe.
Bishop a2, c5. This is starting to get very Rui Lopez like.
Right.
From C5. Italian.
Yeah. But I think black spaces are clearly not coordinated. So he's going to suffer somewhere in some calculations or some tactics.
But how do we continue? Like now, should we play d5? Should we take here? Let's say d5.
I like dc4 more, dc5 more somehow. So I was thinking dc5 and then try to get in b4 if that works. But then c4, you just block my diagonal.
Yeah. This, and then the knight goes back.
Right. So tough.
So you're right. Nakamura has just played c5. Nice. I think this was this Rook c1 by Levon. Maybe a bit slow because it allowed Nakamura to do that. If he had maybe
bishop a2,
played bishop a2 first, then knight a5, he would have been in time
b4.
with maybe b4 here.
Right. So bishop a2 was a good prophylactic move.
Right. So Rook c1, knight a5, bishop a2, and c5. Nakamura has 9 minutes on the clock. Levon has 11, and Levon in a must-win situation, guys. If it's a draw, Nakamura becomes the Grand Prix champion. And Swapnil, what do you have to say about Hikaru? Because people, someone in the chat said मस्ती मस्ती में candidates पहुंच जाएगा, like he doesn't even, I think he just came for a change because he's like a full-time streamer. He was making videos here. He's streaming also after his games many times or on rest days.
Oh my God. Okay.
And yet he's able to do this.
Yeah, I think what we can say, I think he's just a genius. Amazing player. I think his streaming and his blitz games are his practice. Seems to be working for him. But I'm sure he must be also working outside of this streams and so on, because his opening preparation was quite good in this tournament. And I think that shows that he must have been preparing quite well for this tournament.
Yeah. There's also Ayush Maurya who says Hikaru didn't lose a single game from almost 35 games. True, I remember. I mean, not counting Blitz. I think he lost few games in World Rapid and Blitz. But, or maybe in World Rapid he never lost a game, perhaps.
I think he must have lost, no?
Maybe in Blitz he did, but he played before that St. Louis. He was unbeaten there. So basically he's just, I think the streaming has helped him become even stronger, perhaps.
Yeah, savage.
Which is very counterintuitive. It's like saying, Swapnil, you now after training so much, you go to tournaments and you just start winning everything.
Actually, Nakamura's rise has always been very much questionable from the traditional viewpoint of chess improvement, because he has been playing blitz for so long. And every time coaches recommend don't play too much blitz, it ruins your game and so on. But he has been just playing blitz, and he also mentions openly that he doesn't study classical games.
Yes, yes. I remember once in an interview with him where I was asking him about Vishy's games. He couldn't guess many of them because he just doesn't study so much of classical games.
Yeah. So I think this proves that there are a lot of ways in chess to improve. There's no one single way, one single proven path that this is the only way to improve. Yeah, you can play blitz like how Naka does, and you can still improve.
Yeah.
And also kids these days like Nihal Sareen, Arjun Erigese, Ronak, they play so much blitz games, but they are improving.
Right. Absolutely. By the way, question in the chat from Samarth Gandhi. He says, what is the queen exactly doing on f8? Why did he play it there?
At that point, it was guarding the f7 pawn, because white was planning to play a3 and queen a2 at some point. And also the queen needs to get off from the d8 d file, yeah, because anytime d5 d5 and the rooks might come quickly on d1. So the queen has to get off from there. So I think f8 is a very good and comfortable square.
So usually if let's say we do this, sorry, please continue. Sorry.
Yeah, I was saying that usually the bishop on a7 is the one on f8. But since the bishop has gone to a7, the queen takes its place. And it also gives some added protection to that 6 pawn. In many lines, white can play queen c1 and so on, with ideas of sacrificing on h6. So in that way, I think queen f8 is a good square for the queen.
So I mean, if you go like b5, a3 perhaps, and this could be under pressure. So I think Hikaru did this. Okay, it's a questionable. I mean, it's not like the only way to play.
Right.
There were other ways to do it, but Hikaru chose that. Okay, in the game, after b3, Levon wanted to prevent c4 plans. Yeah. So he played b3. Hikaru went back, knight c6, d5, knight e7, c4.
C4, yeah. Just look at the bishop on a7. Oh my god.
And also a2.
A2, yeah.
Although a2 looks slightly better than the bishop on a7.
Yeah, I think because white has space advantage, so that makes it feel a bit better. But it is also suffering, it seems. Okay, I think white will slowly start playing on the king's side, or even b4 could be an idea at some point.
Yeah, but then it opens up this bishop.
Yeah, but white will try to use the c file or something. Another thing is that let's say b4, c into b4.
Oh, he played b4. Okay, cb.
CB, I was saying bishop into a7 maybe to start with, or maybe just ab4. I'm confused between the two. ab4 has to be played. So I'm still waiting for knight f4, and I can always consider taking it over there.
here, yeah.
That could be one option.
So AB4, knight F4, but take.
Thinking E5 or knight D4.
FIDE. Here
Knight
is a
D4.
powerful move here. E5 is the second best move here. What is the best move for white? Guys, try to think. By the way, there's also, yes, Nihal is also playing currently in Capel La Grande. He's leading with 6 out of 7. So before, ending the stream, I'll try to find his game and also we'll look at that. Yes, Mr. Dum, you are right here. This is a very super move. Also, Deval Savla, Samarth Gandhi, Adarsh GR.
C5, yes.
C5.
Mhm.
Take and then take. And if bishop takes C5 because it's defended by the queen, E5.
And the next move is bishop B1, yeah? Or maybe E6.
Yeah, with killing attack. So,
Interesting.
after B4, he did take here CB. B
Yeah.
takes C4 happened. No, he took CB, AB, B takes C4. Bishop takes C4. Bishop takes E3. Rook E3. And now this is weak. But Naka says, well, your pawn is also weak.
I think Naka is trying to liquidate everything on the queen side.
He needs a draw just, and he's the
Yeah.
champion.
Right. I think his dream position would be to exchange the A pawn for the B pawn
Yeah.
and then play on the king side.
So he's played Queen A3.
Yeah, preventing A5 at the same time.
Swapnil, sometimes like in our head, we are always like, oh, this is hanging. Let us play. This is hanging. Let us play Bishop B5. What are your thoughts about this move? Does it look good?
It's kind of not that easy to evaluate. If it falls for a tactic, I don't really think it falls.
No,
for
there
a
is no
tactical
tactic.
Positionally, I think it looks fine. Like, I don't think so white is going to take on B5 because he wants the C4 square for his knight. So I'm wondering how can he increase the pressure over there.
So maybe this was a possibility. But I
Yeah,
was a
that
little
was
bit worried that after take, let's say queen moves and then I get the C6 square. But this is not a very key square, yeah, because
Yeah, because he can always play knight E7 and cover that square. So that's not a huge thing. The main thing I feel is the C4 square for white's knight, because then it can put a lot of pressure on the D6 pawn. And on top of that, it can also jump on A5 and try to land on C6. So these are the ideas.
Correct. So in the game, after queen A3 went queen D8, bishop went back, and now Nakamura does go bishop B5. But
because knight C4 was coming up, yeah.
Yes, that's what you had mentioned. If he could get knight C4, knight A5, white is doing really well, because the knight is a monster here. It keeps an eye here. But don't you think that now knight C4?
I think he will take.
And then let's say bishop C4.
Yeah, there's some nagging pressure over there still. But I think what Naka will try to do is queen B6, attack on B4, and then hopefully get A5 somewhere. Or maybe A5 straight away. Could also be one
But
possibility.
A5, B5, right? Or
Yeah,
no?
then my idea was to somehow get the knight to C5.
Like this.
Yeah, right now the D6 pawn is falling, but something like queen B6 followed by. But maybe I'm not in time because the bishop moves and rook C6.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So maybe it gets very concrete.
Yeah. But knight C4, I think black has to take. There is no other option. Oh,
Yeah.
queen A5.
There's
That is
queen
strange.
A5. He wants him to take and then eventually.
At some point. And also after queen A5, B5, the pawn on A6 gets fixed over there.
Yes.
So white can try to target it in the future.
Hikaru takes on F1.
King F1.
Swapnil, I want to ask you this question. Right now, psychologically, do you think Hikaru is under pressure or he's just very relaxed? Because
I think
he's very close to victory.
his way. I think that he must be a bit relaxed here because the position is kind of going his way, especially out of the opening, right? So the trend is going in his favor. And I think he has managed, he feels, I'm sure he also feels that he has also managed to kind of equalize after a bad opening, after a bad start. So he must be quite confident in this position. I think pressure must be on Aronian to prove something.
But that, coming close to the finish line, you are like, oh, I'm winning and championship. All that doesn't happen.
Yeah, that can also happen actually. We can say it both ways. I think it's better you invite Naka and ask him.
No, I'm just thinking, like, if suppose you are in his shoes right now.
I always felt that pressure, let's say if I'm leading by half a point and I'm going to play the final round tomorrow against a good opponent, I will always be under pressure. Even if I'm white, even if I'm black, doesn't matter. But that pressure will always be there, even till the end.
Yeah, I think different players react differently. I've seen some players to be very, very confident.
I just want to share an experience. So I was playing a tournament in Kolkata where I got my, I think, second GM norm or something. And so I needed a draw against a grandmaster from Ukraine. And basically I was playing with the white pieces. I offered him a draw early in the opening. He rejected. So I was a bit upset already that I'm having white, and I expected that he will take a draw. He was playing very solidly in that
tournament.
Who
was the player?
I think it was Daniel Lynchevsky. He was from Russia. He is from Russia. So I was a bit dejected, but then I desperately wanted to draw. So I was just looking for options and exchanges and all the moves that simplifies the position and takes me towards a draw. But then I was so desperate that I was completely focused on the result, not at all focused on the game, and I missed very simple things. And he kept pressurizing me. And ultimately there came a position that I was completely worse. I was clearly minus. Then I thought that, okay, now there is no chance that I can draw this game. So I just have to play fast and I have to give my best. I should forget about the norm. There's no way I can achieve a norm now. I can achieve a draw from this position. But then suddenly I played very freely. And I somehow managed to go to a rook endgame where I was a pawn down. So I had 3 pawns. He had 4 pawns on one side.
Oh, I remember this game. And you won it, right?
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, and I was there. You were playing in that zone, Upar ka zone, in Kolkata, and you were able to win that and make your GM norm.
Yeah.
I think it's just the fact that you play better when you are trailing or when you are chasing, right? That's how you are. And some people just cannot handle the pressure of chasing. Some people just cannot handle the pressure of better position. So
it differs from person to person, right?
Yeah, I think it a lot depends on your mindset, your upbringing. There's so many things which go into a chess player. But by the way, one question asked by Samarth was, could he have played Rook C6? But I don't think Naka would have traded B4 for D6. He would have defended.
Just 98, yeah.
And then 97, get this out. Yeah. So Rook B3, Rook B5, 91. And the game is still going on. Yeah. So it's not a dead draw.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like until you are able to exchange the A pawn for the B pawn, there's always going to be some tension.
Ooh, F5. Hikaru is like looking for, he's playing like online blitz this game.
True. He's playing in his own style.
If take, he wants to go 97, hit here and here.
Yeah. So that's an interesting thing, if I would be black in this position, I'll sit very tight. I will control all the key squares on the C file and try to somehow liquidate the A pawn for the B pawn. But Naka is playing in his own style. He doesn't really care, it seems. Just trying to get some counterplay.
Yeah.
F3 has to be played, I believe.
F3, yeah, true. F3, or you then go like Aronian goes crazy and he's like, okay, let's make it all messy. You have central, I have kingside majority, we'll do stuff. But okay, he goes F3, he plays simple chess. Take. By the way, Anil Kabra says, Swapnil is so good. Why did he become a coach? He could easily be in India's top 5 players.
Okay. Basically, as it happened, when I was an active player, I had an opportunity to work with one of the youngest, one of the youngest and also a very talented youngster of our time, Ronak Sadhwani. So he was around 1900 at that time. And I was at first, I was not so much willing to leave chess as an active player and go into coaching. But then he came to my room once, hotel room in Chennai, and he just showed me his game. And I was analyzing that game with him. He was 1900 at that time. So I felt okay, अभी पता नहीं एनालिसिस कर रहा है, पता नहीं कैसा होगा. तो मैंने बोला चलो कुछ मूव सजेस्ट करके देखते हैं, एनालिसिस करते. बट देन ही स्टार्टेड शोइंग मी सच मूव्स दैट आई कंप्लीटली मिस्ड इन एनालिसिस. सो आई वाज रियली इम्प्रेस्ड बाय हिज एनालिसिस एट द टाइम, एंड आई थॉट okay, I really need to train with this youngster. Then yeah, we started working together, and I really got interested into training him and coaching in general. So that was a start, and then I felt that okay, maybe I would achieve much more success if I become a professional coach. So that's how I started pivoting into coaching.
Nice. That was a very nice story of Swapnil, how he began coaching. If I was there in like Swapnil, I was thinking that Raunak came and showed such moves, and you were like, "Abhi khelna band."
Yeah, that was going on in my mind.
Okay, so King E2, Rook A B8, and now Rook C B1. The nice thing is that these two rooks are defended. By the way, yeah, here, and so A5 is not really a possibility.
Right. White के जिंदगी का वही है, A5 नहीं आना चाहिए, तो चल रहा है, अच्छा चल रहा है.
हाँ, मतलब अगर Knight C4 and Knight A5, we get.
अभी Knight C4 पे आया तो भी चलेगा. D6 का pawn बहुत weak है ना, so I think Aronian might be getting a slight lead in this game.
Yeah, sure. Also, time-wise, Aronian is 2 minutes ahead, and we saw in the last game, even in a simple rook, not simple, even with less material, players went wrong so many times. So anything is possible. Like the last 10 minutes of this is going to decide who wins the Grand Prix. Because I think Swapnil, if Levon wins this and takes the score to 1-1, he will have a huge psychological edge.
Of course. That's true. Knight f6. Okay, the knight is going to go to d7 and then e5.
Yeah, this.
Okay, but what? Okay, I was thinking king d3, knight d7, knight c4. But knight c5 check could be risky. Huh?
Ooh, knight c5 and if bc, rook b3. Right.
But we okay, but we don't know whether that is. I think it should be good for black.
He went king f3 and f4 is hanging, so you need to play g5. There's no other way.
Is it possible for black to sacrifice the pawn altogether?
But what?
With knight d7, knight e5? Doesn't look that good, yeah.
Nakamura can do it, I think. Engines don't like it, but maybe rook a1 is the reason.
Could be. Yeah, the a6 pawn falls and the d6 pawn is under pressure after that.
So g5, knight c4, knight e8.
So
yeah,
I'm getting a feeling Aronian is going to win.
This is the thing about Aronian, like he is. I saw him like this Arjun match, right, at Tata Steel. He was so worse against Arjun, and then he came back, and then he won that event. And while on the paper, it's not a big deal that Levon, who is clearly a world-class player, beats Arjun, a rising talent. But if you looked at the games and the atmosphere there, Arjun was dominating that match.
Yeah. I think that was the start of Arjun's rise, I believe.
Yes, one of the many events that Arjun played well with Kolkata. Before that, even
I think that was the first
Abbey
event where he really bet some really strong players.
No, I think Lindorus Abbey Blitz, where he beat Caruana as well there.
Okay.
Before that. So, but yeah, he winning the Rapid was amazing. So Rook C8. Nakamura now trying to put pressure here. I think Levon.
Knight A3, I think.
Knight A3.
A3 or A5, I'm not sure.
But if I can get Knight C6, then I'm better. But I think the Rook will simply move
enter
in, or
Rook C2 maybe.
Yeah. So that's the reason why.
Not sure whether to go to a3 or we can also witness a king walk here. Hg and king g4, king f5.
Yeah, trying to win these 2 pawns.
And the rook swings on h3 and h1 and try to mate with king and 2 rooks.
Yeah, possible.
That
And
would
I'm
be
sure
interesting.
Aronian is thinking about these possibilities. He goes knight f5. Nakamura plays knight f6.
Okay.
What if I
Knight
play knight c6?
c6. Yeah. Also, knight e7 check is a threat.
Maybe rook e8. But okay, he went hg.
Hg first. Okay.
Hg.
He has to play knight c6, right? There's no other way.
He went knight c6, rook e8,
yeah, rook e8,
knight d4.
Yeah. No,
And now he wants to go e6.
Right, you can't defend with rook e1 because the d5 pawn hangs. So there's no other way for white.
So if you had gone here rook e1, then just rook d5.
Rook d5, yeah.
Rook e1 is hanging. So look at Nakamura's accuracy. He goes here, g4, intermediate check.
Wow.
If you play
That's
king
amazing.
f4, this is hanging. If you go king f2, knight e4 is hanging. If you play king e2, rook e4 is hanging. So wow, I think Levon missed this g4.
Yeah. That was amazing calculations.
Take.
He has to take and king f5 has to be played.
And now he'll take this. And guys, this is gone. Draw. For sure. Because rook d4, king f6, take on b4.
No, but the king will sit on
g6. Oh no, sorry, b4 is not hanging.
I mean, d5 is what he will take, but the king has a safe square on g6. So white can still create some mating threats, though it won't work, but he can still try something. But what? Okay. You have to take on d4, right?
This was phenomenal. Yeah, g4, finding this. If he didn't find it, and if he would have moved the rook.
It all started with knight f6. I think he calculated everything when he played knight f6.
You mean here after knight, knight f6?
No, long, yeah, knight f6, yeah, I guess. That's.
And rook e8, g4, take.
Rook d5, rook g5. Okay.
He took this, and now maybe he can. If he will just keep giving check.
Yeah, I think it's just over now. It's tough to come back.
Wow, guys, Nakamura is going to win this tournament. Wow. Amazing.
Nice comeback by Naka.
You have played him, right? Or you've?
No, I didn't play against.
You didn't play. I thought at Grand Swiss maybe.
No, I didn't get a chance.
Not sorry, Grand Swiss. I was like that Isle of Man. Himang says that's the special thing about Naka. He's extremely resourceful and resilient. Yeah, I think that's the thing. Yeah, when he plays blitz, he has overturned so many lost positions that he keeps believing that anything is possible.
He's always hopeful. But he has also, won so many lost games in normal, rapid and over the board rapid and blitz, as well as classical games. As soon as his opponent relaxes, he is able to turn the tables.
Yeah. Rook f1 has been played. Abhinav CS. That's what you said. Why not rook f1? That's exactly what he has done. Can we go rook d4? Or it's...
Rook d4, I believe rook c3.
You want to use the two rooks to checkmate me. Okay, I have to be careful. We have seen rook endgames can be very tricky. And double rook endgames can be even trickier. Now, maybe here you have to go back, rook b8. So he goes rook h5.
He desperately wants to kick the king from there. Rook h6 is coming up.
Maybe Nakamura wants to mate this king. It's like this king has come in to checkmate this guy, but maybe he'll get checkmated. Keyboard Warrior says, big fan of Swapnil. Thank you, Keyboard.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So I think in normal rating tournaments and other open tournaments, we'll be able to see a lot of new players who have learned chess from streams of ChessBase India, right?
I hope so, because already over the board chess is happening now.
Yeah.
There is, but they are always having this question. Swapnil, maybe you can answer. Some of them want to play in, say, Delhi Open. Some of them want to play in Guwahati. Some maybe in Gujarat Open, because these are three big opens happening. But the entry fee is 10,000 rupees, somewhere around that. So the question that they all have is it worth for us to spend this, and should we spend it?
So, see, basically,
Oh, what? He got mated. Just
no, how King D8?
Rook H.
Oh,
He got
oh my
mated.
god! This is a typical blitz mate that Naka usually gives to players. Yeah.
Oh my god! Like Aronian's move, Rook F4, a huge blunder. Check,
Oh my god!
and he goes King D8, and now only move, yeah, Rook H8,
Yeah, Naka will play that. I'm sure he's.
and then King of. Oh.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
We were just saying that white is trying to checkmate the black king, but actually his king can get mated.
That was unexpected. Oh, he played Rook H8.
He did it.
Oh my god! I think well-deserved victory. If you checkmate Aronian this way, you deserve to win the tournament.
For sure. Rook E3, King G7, Rook E8, Rook B8, and you win the
lose
rook.
Hmm.
King C8 is what Garvit is asking, but maybe then Rook G7, right?
Yeah.
And then King H7 mate. His king is so lonely. Lost everything there.
Amazing. I never even in my dreams, I will imagine that White's king will.
Oh,
get
he
mated.
resigned. He resigned, and Nakamura has won 2-0, and he is the champion of the Berlin Grand Prix. What? 15 days of chess, and he's managed to win this tournament.
Amazing. That's a well-deserved victory for sure.
Oh, it's just simply phenomenal. I cannot believe it, guys. To have another kind of career, like full-time career, and yet win in a field which had Aronian, which had like some of the best players in the world. I mean, what an achievement this is.
Yeah.
He's just managed to achieve the unthinkable, because
True.
there were players like Richard Rapport, Wesley So. There was also in his own group there was Grishchuk and Esipenko. He finished ahead of all of them. Yeah,
Amazing
congratulations to Nakamura, and and guys, the next Grand Prix will start from 28th of February. Before that, we have Champions Chess Tour, in which Pragnananda will take part. It is starting from the 19th of Feb, which is
it online?
Yes, it's online. It will be Carlson is playing there. Anish Giri is playing. It's
What
going to
about
be a
Vidit and Hari?
No, Vidit Hari are not playing in Champions Chess Tour. They will play directly in 28th Berlin Belgrade Grand Prix.
Okay.
So that is where we'll also have Anish joining in there. So actually Anish Giri has a packed schedule now. From 19th he will play the Champions Chess Tour until 26th, I think, and then he will go to Grand Prix. In between, we will also begin with the India's Got Talent, where Swapnil, you will also be there as one of the trainers, most likely
waiting for that event.
Couple of days. And
have you already sorted the players? Like who will
I have been going through them. I have been working very carefully going through them, and I've selected a few. A few are still left, so I just want to make sure I have the most well balanced teams. And also, guys, just before all of you leave, the first link in the description is something very special that Swapnil has made for the chess community. Swapnil, if you could tell them about it.
Yeah, basically it's a video course on Akiba Rubinstein, and it contains 12 video lessons plus 200 interactive exercises based on his games. And what you will learn in that course is you will learn some really good positional motives, strategic motives, as well as some really nice endgame knowledge you will gain from that course. So I think it's a free video course. I think I should start it with that. And it's a very good learning opportunity for everyone. So I believe if you guys enroll, I'm sure you will benefit a lot from that course.
Yeah, well, Ashwath, you put in the link. It's also in the chat, and also you can see it's the first link in the description. So go there and check it out. 200 interactive puzzles in the games of Rubinstein means
And
you
of
are.
course, this is not the last course. So of course, there are going to be many more courses. So welcome everyone to Chess Pathshala community, and please join the course.
Yes, that is for sure. And I think Swapnil, it's like doing PhD on Rubinstein. Yes,
True.
once you study all these games, you will be like, हाँ Rubinstein का ये game में ये हुआ था, इसके game में ये हुआ था, and stuff like that. So
Right.
okay, you were just telling about before you leave about whether they should take part in the tournament, about the entry fee. What are your thoughts?
Right. So if money is not a concern for you, then I think it's always a good opportunity to participate in such big international events. But if let's say this is your first tournament and you are also on a budget, if you want to invest carefully, I would suggest you start with some local rapid tournaments or some normal classical tournaments at a local level first, if that's your first tournament, or at a state level. Once you do that, once you gain some experience, of the playing tournaments and the tournament in general, then you go to the next step and see how it goes. So I think you start small and then you take it further step by step.
True. Yeah. So no point in rushing it there if you are if this amount seems high, because there will be several tournaments which will happen, which will have lower entry fee, less traveling cost, maybe closer to your home and so on. But if I think the atmosphere at such events is really amazing, because
Right.
when you have a GM event also happening, you can see those GMs playing over the board. You can go and see their games, maybe after the game, talk to them, take a selfie with them, whatever. I mean, these are small things which maybe in a local event you might not be able to get. So
Right.
you can take a decision on that. And Swapnil, thanks so much for joining in today.
Welcome,
It's
Sagar.
always,
Thank
as
you so much
always,
for inviting me.
pleasure to commentate with you. And we had two decisive games. I guess when you come, a lot of blunders happen. Yeah, I've hardly seen draws happening when you are around.
Okay.
Okay, take care. Bye.
Thank you so much, Sagar. Bye.
Guys, that was Swapnil Dhopade joining us all the way from Amravati, a great chess trainer, a great chess player, now a very proud father. So much that he has achieved. And also now Hikaru has 2 points. He is the champion of the FIDE Grand Prix. What are your thoughts, guys? What are your thoughts? Sports with Tanish says, thank you, Sagar, for those streams. Enjoyed commenting the moves. Yeah, sure. Also, maybe we can, before we leave, check the game of Nihal. I don't know if it's live. That tournament does not have live games somehow everywhere. I don't know why. Yeah, I want to know, what are your thoughts, guys, about Nakamura's victory? PRT says Hikaru's OTB return consisted of St. Louis Blitz, World Rapid and Blitz, FIDE Grand Prix, and he's unbeaten in all of them, winning St. Louis and Grand Prix. It's simply incredible. Yeah, I mean, I can't believe I was there at the FIDE at the World Rapid and Blitz. I can't believe that he was unbeaten. Yes, we have the games here. Okay, cool. Guys, I can load the game of Nihal because it is available here on Leeches. It's live. Will Hikaru enter top 10? I'm not sure that he's entered top 10 in this event. Let's just, I think on 2700 chess, you can have a look. So just before we leave, Nihal Sarin versus Vladislav Bakhmatsky. This tournament is happening in Capelle La Grande. This is a very famous tournament that happens in France every year. And Nihal maybe is the top seed of this event. I think he might be the top seed. He had a slow start with, I think, couple of draws, and then he sped up and now has 6 out of 7. So he goes for the Sicilian, knight f3, knight c6, d4 cd, knight d4 e6, okay, knight c3, queen c7. Does anyone know what's the name of this opening? Sports with Tanish says Hikaru's victory has motivated everyone just because of the fact that he plays well in all three. Also, I think Hikaru's victory makes us all believe that you can always pursue multiple things. Yeah, it's not always necessary to do one thing. But then again, he is, I mean, it's, I don't know. I mean, he did well here, but somehow it does seem very anti-intuitive to me that someone who spends very little time preparing is able to do so well against players who spend all their time preparing. Yes, Taimano, Divyansh, chess is fun. Will Nakamura give his spot to Ding, as he was joking earlier? Amit Kumar says. He would love to, I believe, but I don't think FIDE will allow that. Neil Mahajan, yes. Taimanov, Sports with Tanish, yes. So, f4, a6, bishop e2, b5, take on c6. I think you take with the queen. Yeah, bishop f3. Now threatening e5 to win this. So what should black do here, guys? Black to move. Dharmendra Joshi says, do you think Semitarash is passive Grunfeld? Interesting. I think no, because Grunfeld, you generally do not land up in such positions like the Semitarash. Grunfeld is a more dynamic opening, while Semitarash is more stable in that sense. But Surya did show us some of the fireworks in that opening, I think. No, not Rook b8. Not Rook b8. No, abhi tak Suyash Patil is not qualified to the candidates. He's got 13 points. He has to play one more FIDE Grand Prix. And if he's able to cumulatively score points, which is in top 2 amongst all the participants of the Grand Prix, then he wins it. Come on, guys. Why are you moving the rook, all of you? It's just simple move. No one, yeah? No one. I'm surprised. Yes, Samarth Gandhi, absolutely. Bishop b7. Srikant Venkatramani says, I think like Naka says, financial stability has really helped him free up, enjoying his chess a lot more. Maybe, but I don't think he was I mean, he earned less as a player, but I don't think he ever had financial difficulties as such. So financially, maybe that was not an issue for him. But the fact that he has so many people following him, and I think he really loves it, enjoys it. Rook c8, Queen d3 by Vladislav. Nihal goes and exchanges the queens. Vladislav says, okay, if you want to take. Nihal says, okay, let's keep the queens like this. जो होगा सो तुम मारोगे तो मैं मारूंगा, मतलब मैं नहीं मारूंगा, to get your center stronger. Okay, castles, d6, bishop d4, knight d7. Maybe he could have also played bishop e7, perhaps. Then e5. Ooh, guys, this is very important. Yes, when the bishop comes here and e5, ef6, fe7, you know, when you can attack this pawn, then this bishop. So let me explain to you. Here, for example, I go h6. It's not such a bad move. e5, I can take on f3. If you take on f6, then I can maybe take here and get the bishop back. Okay, there's no tactics here because I can take and go here and take this. But when you get your bishop to e7 here, then e5 becomes a real problem, because after bishop f3, I go ef6, attacking your bishop, and this is also hanging. So you have to be careful. That's why Nihal goes knight d7, rook d1. I think Matsky could have kept the queens on the board because black is undeveloped. He goes rook d1. Nihal now says, okay, let me exchange it. CD, so the rook on d1 is kind of a move wasted. e5, bishop e3, he took, knight e5, bishop e2, bishop e7, rook c1, castles, and a4. I am wondering if Nihal can go b4. I think he can. Knight d5, bishop d5, ed. And we have to assess this position. It's a interesting one. Black has white has the double pawns, but also the bishop pair. Black has maybe a very good knight here. Maybe a5 is one move. I think that's important because if white plays a5 and fixes this pawn, that could be trouble. Nihal's time is very low. Really? What? Nihal is 1 minute. 1 minute. Oh my god. Oh my god. In a classical game which has 1 hour 30 minutes, Nihal has come down to 1 minute here. Unbelievable. Wow, thanks Anukul Jain for telling me this. Akshat Singh says it's just a form, to be honest. Maybe. Let's see in the second Grand Prix how Hikaru does. Time does not matter for Nihal, says Kavya. But no, I believe it's an important thing. Maybe the timing is wrong, yeah, here. Let's just wait for a few moves. Peter says Nihal going full Grishchuk or Dominguez. Yeah. No, but maybe this time on Leeches could be wrong. Because Mayur says, hey Sagar, I am now in Mumbai, at least till 8 March. Will email you. Yeah, sure, Mayur. It would be good if you can mail. And yeah, it would be nice to catch up. Himang says, I believe it's a broadcast error. Okay. I think the position is such that Nihal has to be a little careful here. Because the most natural idea here, which is b4, doesn't seem to be great. Knight d5, take, and then a5. And we have to really assess this position after d4. Who's better? Knight g6. And I have my doubts because the reason why I have my doubts is that the rook can really sit very strong on c6. But okay, there is rook e8 or rook c e8 plans. Maybe I should go bishop g3, bishop f6. Yeah, perhaps Nihal will do that. Yeah, I think the clock was wrong, guys. It's not this slow time. Anyway. Shaibi says, when is the next bullet stream? I think after a few days, because most likely Amruta and I will go to Pune tomorrow to meet her parents in Pune. So maybe we'll be there for a few days. And then from there, maybe she won't do bullet streams. We'll come back in a few days and then do it again. Okay. Astitwa Dubey says, I got my first job because of chess. Thanks to you. How? Astitwa, could you tell us how did you get your job because of chess? Chess is fun. When will India's Got Talent winners be announced? I believe in 2-3 days, I think, from now. They are not winners. They will be selected and they will get to improve. Yes, in a way winners, because you get to work with GMs, train with them. Astitwa says, I got a job to teach chess to 6-year-old kids. Wow, it's very cool. So it's like a job in chess. Amazing. सुयश says, इस बार बुलेट में कोई डेर मत रखना. Yeah. Sports with Tanish says, Sagar, how about meetup in Pune? I'm in Pune too. Yeah, maybe I'll also summer is in Pune, so we'll see if something is possible there. And we'll let you know. Arun Narayan says, Sagar bhai, how Hikaru managed to do all these things? I mean, streaming and winning tournaments. It's amazing. I think it's a phenomenal achievement. That being said, he's been doing this since so many events now, which clearly shows that he is able to manage these things well. He doesn't play so much, but when he plays in the best possible mindset. I am actually hoping that he continues this form and reaches the candidates as well, because in a way, if he does that, so many more people will follow through him. More chess, they follow his streams anyway. I think Hikaru is a very unique personality in chess, where he streams plus he's able to be right there at the top, and that makes it so valuable, this ability to do both the things. Yes, I think we will stream a few the online chess Champions Chess Tour at Things Masters, but maybe not the full duration, because it starts at 10:30 in the night and it gets really late. But I guess a few hours for sure. Okay. Guys, I'll take your leave now. Thank you all for following. Also, do check out the first link in the description, where Swapnil has a very nice course for all of you to learn about Rubinstein. And also, if you want to get ChessBase and Mega Database, it's the second link in the description. Very useful as training material for all of you working on chess. Seriously, it could be very useful. And until then, guys, I'll see you all. Take care. Bye bye.